FC Barcelona are preparing for one of the biggest and most dramatic summers in the club's modern history. After Robert Lewandowski's emotional farewell, the Blaugrana are now entering a completely new era under Hansi Flick, and massive decisions are already shaking the club behind the scenes. Barcelona have officially started searching for their next superstar striker, with 4 major names now on the shortlist: Julian Alvarez, João Pedro, Lautaro Martinez, and Mikel Oyarzabal. Following Lewandowski's departure, signing a new world-class number 9 has become one of the club's absolute top priorities. But the situation is far from easy. Barcelona are still fighting with financial fair play restrictions, meaning the club must carefully study every transfer move before making a final decision. And with the 2026 World Cup approaching fast, the Catalans fear that strong tournament performances could massively increase the prices of their targets, especially players like Alvarez and Lautaro. Meanwhile, Barcelona have also suffered a heartbreaking blow ahead of the World Cup. The club has officially confirmed that Fermin Lopez fractured the 5th metatarsal in his right foot and will undergo surgery, ruling him out for around 3 months. That means the young Spanish midfielder will miss the 2026 FIFA World Cup in what could have been one of the biggest moments of his career. But that's not all. Hansi Flick and the Barcelona coaching staff are also seriously considering a surprise move for former Barca winger Ez Abd after being impressed by his performance for Real Betis at Camp Nou. The Moroccan international's pace, creativity, and direct attacking style reportedly left a very positive impression internally, and Barcelona could now reconsider bringing him back to the club. At the same time, Barcelona have received huge news regarding Raphinha's future. Despite massive interest from Saudi Arabia, transfer expert Fabrizio Romano reports that the Brazilian winger has absolutely no intention of leaving the club this summer. Barcelona shortlist 4 players to strengthen center-forward position, report. Barcelona are accelerating plans for life after Robert Lewandowski, with fresh reports revealing the 4 names currently under consideration to lead the club's next attacking era. According to Carousel Deportivo, Barcelona's shortlist for the center-forward position currently includes Julian Alvarez, João Pedro, Lautaro Martinez and Mikel Oyarzabal. Following Lewandowski's official decision to leave the club at the end of the season, Barcelona are now fully aware that signing a new striker has become one of the biggest priorities of the summer. However, the situation is far from simple, as the club remains heavily restricted financially and much will depend on whether they can finally operate freely under La Liga's 1:1 financial rule. Until that situation becomes clear, Barcelona are being forced to study every possible option before committing to a major transfer. A look at the options. Among the names under consideration, Julian Alvarez is viewed as one of the most attractive options. The Atletico Madrid forward fits many of the qualities Barcelona are looking for, but the operation would be extremely difficult. In fact, next to impossible. If Barcelona fail to secure Alvarez, the club already has alternative plans in place. Both João Pedro and Lautaro Martinez are highly appreciated internally, with the 2 South American forwards seen as players capable of adapting well to Flick's attacking system. At the same time, Oyarzabal is viewed slightly differently. This is because the Real Sociedad captain is considered one of the smartest and most balanced options available because of his experience, tactical intelligence and strong chemistry with several Barcelona players from the Spanish national team. World Cup could inflate striker prices. One of Barcelona's biggest concerns is that they know they must move quickly in the market because the upcoming World Cup could dramatically increase the value of several transfer targets. If players like Alvarez, Lautaro or João Pedro perform strongly during the tournament, their asking prices could rise even further, something Barcelona can barely afford given their current financial situation. Simply put, that urgency is creating pressure within the sporting department. Official. Barcelona confirmed Fermin Lopez suffers 5th metatarsal fracture, set to miss World Cup. Barcelona's victory over Real Betis turned into a very emotional and painful night at the same time. While the fans were celebrating Robert Lewandowski's farewell at the Spotify Camp Nou, the club also received terrible news regarding Fermin Lopez. The young midfielder was forced off at halftime after feeling serious discomfort in his right foot. After medical tests, Barcelona officially confirmed that Fermin suffered a fracture in the 5th metatarsal and will now need surgery. It's a heartbreaking moment for the 23-year-old because the 2026 FIFA World Cup is only a few weeks away. Fermin was expected to be part of Spain's squad after an excellent season with Barcelona, and this could have been the first World Cup appearance of his career. Unfortunately, reports suggest he could be sidelined for around 3 months, which almost completely rules him out of the tournament. For Barcelona, The injury also officially ends Fermin's season. Since the La Liga title is already secured, he will only miss the final league match. But the biggest disappointment is undoubtedly missing the biggest international competition in football at such an important stage of his development. However, the biggest disappointment without a doubt will be missing the biggest international competition in football at such an important stage of his career. Barcelona seriously considering surprise winger option for next season with Hansi Flick impressed. Barcelona may be reconsidering one of their former talents ahead of the summer transfer window after Ez Abd impressed Hansi Flick and his coaching staff during the recent clash against Real Betis. According to Nil Sola from Carrusel Deportivo, the Barcelona staff closely analyzed Abd's performance during Betis' 1-3 defeat at Spotify Camp Nou and came away with very positive conclusions regarding the winger. It is known that Flick was initially unconvinced about the possibility of bringing Abd back to the club because his preference was to sign a more established and proven attacking player this summer. A strong impression. Although the winger has produced stronger performances this season, his performance in the 78 minutes he was on the field at Camp Nou appears to have made a strong impression on the Barcelona manager. Abd consistently threatened defenders with his direct running. One of his bursts forward even forced Jules Koundé into a booking, while he also managed to beat Joan Garcia with a composed finish that was later disallowed for offside. This performance appears to have strengthened his position as a realistic alternative for Barcelona's left-wing role next season. It must be noted that Abd's current contract with Betis runs until 2029, with a €60 million release clause included in his deal. Interestingly, Barcelona still own 20% of the player's rights, something that could become useful if negotiations eventually progress. Strong numbers to show. While his performance against Barcelona attracted attention, Abd's overall season has been extremely productive, having registered 14 goals and 13 assists in 42 appearances across all competitions. The numbers are particularly important because Barcelona's current sporting project demands wide players who can contribute both creatively and directly in front of goal. Abd's pace, unpredictability and ability to attack defenders 1 versus 1 also fit naturally into the aggressive attacking style Flick wants to build. At the same time, the player already understands the pressure and expectations that come with Barcelona because of his previous experience at the club. That familiarity could make adaptation significantly easier compared to signing a completely new player from abroad. Barcelona superstar forward closes door on lucrative Saudi League transfer, Romano. Barcelona have received a major boost ahead of the summer transfer window after fresh reports confirmed that Raphinha has no intention of leaving the club despite growing interest from Saudi Arabia. According to transfer specialist Fabrizio Romano, it has come to light that the Brazilian winger is fully committed to continuing at Barcelona and will not make a move to the Saudi Pro League this summer. The update arrives at an important moment for the Catalan club, whose financial difficulties continue to generate constant speculation surrounding possible high-profile exits. Barcelona still need to manage their salary structure and comply with La Liga's financial regulations, making several players subjects of transfer rumors in recent months. No move was ever considered. Among those names, Raphinha had increasingly attracted attention from Saudi clubs eager to strengthen their league with elite-level European talent. However, the latest information strongly suggests that a move to the Middle East was never seriously considered by the player himself. The understanding is that Raphinha never approached Saudi clubs or explored negotiations, while teams from the Saudi Pro League were already aware that the winger's priority was always to remain at Barcelona. That position has now also been publicly affirmed by Hansi Flick, who made his feelings on the player clear after Real Betis win. Raphinha stays. He is unbelievable. At this level, he's one of our most important players. For me, he stays here for many years. I'm happy to have him back. Untouchable under Hansi Flick. Raphinha's importance has grown enormously since Flick arrived at the club. Although the winger faced criticism and uncertainty at different moments during previous seasons, he has evolved into one of Barcelona's most reliable and decisive attacking players under the German manager. That connection is one of the main reasons Barcelona are no longer seriously entertaining the idea of selling him despite their financial pressures. In fact, the feeling is that replacing Raphinha would create a bigger sporting problem than the financial relief his departure might generate. Barcelona building around core leaders. Flick's public backing of Raphinha also sends a strong message about the type of squad Barcelona want to build over the next few years. With experienced figures like Robert Lewandowski leaving, the club is increasingly relying on players who combine quality, personality and consistency, and Raphinha now clearly belongs in that category. For that reason, Barcelona view him as an essential piece of Flick's long-term project rather than a player available for transfer. Barcelona are now entering a defining moment for the future of the club. With Robert Lewandowski gone, Hansi Flick must rebuild the attack around a new generation of stars while balancing financial pressure, transfer strategy, and the expectations of millions of fans worldwide. The race to sign a new striker could completely shape Barca's future, but the club must move quickly before the World Cup causes transfer prices to explode. At the same time, the heartbreaking injury to Fermin Lopez is a painful reminder of how quickly football can change, while the possible return of Easy Abd and the decision to keep Raphinha show that Flick already knows exactly the type of team he wants to build. One thing is certain: Barcelona's summer transfer window is going to be absolutely explosive.